Exclusive contract with Feilu Novel Network novel. Anti-Japanese War. Soft Rice King. I became a great power by eating soft rice. Song Chen traveled through the Republic of China and only bound the system in May 1937, when the Battle of Songhu was about to break out. But this system is a bit weak. It can't be used for critical combat. If I don't give mushroom bullets, how can I win against the little day armed to the teeth? What should we do? Online waiting, very urgent. Song Chen, who didn't want to see the tragedy happen, pondered and had a sudden idea. He got stuck in a system bug and designed a subsystem controlled by him to give to Chang Kaishen. The subsystem can view loyalty, talent, tactical deduction, and even lottery. Chang Kaishen. Nyang Shipi, Song Chen's loyalty exceeds 100, be loyal to me to the death. Let him wipe his neck without hesitation. Or is it a natural talent comparable to Jiang Zia and Zhuge Liang? Song Chen. That's not it. I, Song Chen, am definitely the #1 loyal minister of the committee. So, under the covert control of Song Chen, the art style of the parallel world gradually became eerie. Micro-Master Chang Kaishen transformed into a globally recognized tactical master, and those who failed to make it were stunned. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 1. Bind a subsystem for the micro-operation master Chang Kaishen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. System, you're late. It's already May 1937, only 2 months away from the disaster. There's no time for me to slowly accumulate strength. Why don't you bind earlier? Ding, I'm sorry, it was a mistake in this system that caused me to sleep for 19 years. In order to compensate for the host, this system can agree to a condition. In an elegantly decorated study in Jiang, a tall and handsome young man lay on a European-style leather sofa, his eyebrows slightly furrowed. The facial features of a young man are unparalleled in beauty. This kind of handsomeness is elegant, noble, and capable of instantly killing modern fresh meat. The two are not even worthy of being compared together. The stranger is like a jade, and the young master is unparalleled. This sentence is perfect to describe a young man. Song Chen, a time traveler, has been in the Republic of China for 19 years, and it is not until today that the system is bound. In this lifetime, his identity was very prominent. He was the grandson of the wealthy Cuban Chinese businessman Song Chen, who was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. He grew up in luxury and had many servants. What's more, the old man had an adopted son named Song Jiashu. Song Jiashu's sons and daughters are famous for planting flowers. The 3 daughters are the most prominent sisters who planted flowers in the 20th century. The second daughter is respected as the mother of our country, patriotic and respected by all people. My youngest daughter married Chang Kaishen, with great power and a commanding presence. The eldest daughter married Kong Xiangxi, who was good at accumulating wealth and became the richest in the world. They had an incredible influence on flower planting in the 20th century and to some extent, influenced the historical process of flower planting. The eldest son is not weak either, supporting the Song family in making a name for himself in the financial industry. When Song Chen learned that his relatives were so powerful, he immediately made up his mind to study hard even if there was no system. After the age of 15, he returned to planting flowers and used his uncle Chang Kaishen's connections to become a senior general of the National Army, saving the troubled flower planting. Song Chen, who was a top student at the National Defense University before his time traveling, was very confident because although he didn't have golden fingers, God still gave him a hang. The military law books he had read before his time traveling, the textbooks and military theories from the National Defense University Library were all engraved in his mind. With this knowledge reserve, as long as you pursue the title of military genius and seize the opportunity after returning to China, you will definitely be highly valued by Chang Kaishen. Chang Kaishen's moral character is too clear to him. He appoints people with favoritism, and his fellow villagers in Jiangsu and Zhejiang are vigorously promoted. As a nephew with a background in the Song family's wealth, I still worry about whether I can get promoted and become rich. However, reality slapped him. At the age of 14, Cuba experienced internal strife, and the Song family was massacred by rebels. Only he, who had studied abroad in a beautiful country, survived. Young Song Chen became an orphan overnight. When the flower-planting Song family learned of this bad news, they first rushed to Cuba to bring back the ashes of Song Chen's grandparents and other relatives for burial, and then remitted money to Song Chen to complete his studies at West Point Military Academy. Last August, Song Chen graduated from West Point Military Academy and returned to planting flowers. He was appointed as the commander of the 523rd Regiment of the 88th Division by Chang Kaishen. 88th Division, the authentic German mechanical division, the absolute elite of the National Army. At the age of 19, he was able to become the commander of the German mechanical division, partly because Song Chen's reputation was too well known. He was one of the most outstanding graduates of the 1936 class at the beautiful West Point Military Academy. The second reason is that Grandpa Song Chen was the life-saving benefactor and adoptive father of Song Jeshu. Without the Cuban Song family, there would be no current flower-planting Song family. Therefore, Song Chen, handsome and smart, was offended by the three sisters of the Song family. Song Yuanliang, who has never had children, even raised Song Chen as her son. Of course, Song Chen refused. Who the hell wants to be your son? If it weren't for reversing the tragic fate of planting flowers, I wouldn't have had any involvement with the Song family. A group of moths, traitors. Except for my second aunt, who is a respected mother of the country, who else? Forget it. System, can all conditions be met? Song Chen raised his sword eyebrows and slightly raised the corner of his mouth. This system, which has been delayed for 19 years, has no hope for Song Chen, because it is only 2 months away from the July 7 incident and 3 months away from the Battle of Songhu. He cannot resist the attacks of the little devils in the East China Sea. In December, he may witness the devastating Jinling massacre with his own eyes. What can we use to block the aggressive Japanese, except for the critical weapons system or the system that directly receives 2 mushroom bullets? It is obvious that this system called the daily lottery has no ability to give him enough strength to block the devils in a short period of time. Perhaps there is a chance of getting a mushroom bullet, but Song Chen feels that the probability is too low. Ding, host, please make a request first. If it's not excessive, this system can agree. Oh, garbage system. Song Chen sneered and said he could agree to a condition just now, but now he has become a decent one before agreeing. Can you give me 10 hydrogen bombs with a TNT equivalent of 2 million tons and 10 B-52 bombers with their own pilots? Ding, please change the host's conditions. 5 atomic bombs with a TNT equivalent of 200,000 tons and 5 B-52 aircraft. Ding, please change the host's conditions. 50 German mechanics. Ding, please change the conditions for the host. Note: this system will not provide live rewards to the host. Okay, the weapons and equipment of 10 German mechanics. Ding, could you please change the host's condition, such as the weapons and equipment of a division? Okay, confirmed, you're just a waste system. Song Chen was greatly disappointed and collapsed on the sofa, pondering how to take advantage of this opportunity to extract wool from the system. It seems that weapons and equipment can only be obtained from one division. Negotiate and give weapons and equipment to 2 divisions. How fierce the Battle of Songhu was, Song Chen was too aware that the weapons and equipment of the 2 German mechanics could not turn the tide of the battle. Don't imagine it. Suddenly, Song Chen had a sudden inspiration, and a few strands of essence flashed in his bright starry eyes. How about binding a subsystem for Chang Kaishen? Then this subsystem can be controlled by him, and as long as it is operated properly, the micro-master instantly transforms into a strategic master, crushing Xiaotian every minute. Haha, it's truly me. Too smart. Song Chen became more and more excited as he thought, and quickly asked, "System, can I bind a subsystem controlled by me to others?" Good guy, what kind of crazy idea is this? The system was speechless, amazed by Song Chen's sloppy operation. Fortunately, Song Chen's condition did not violate the operating rules of the system. Large quantities of weapons and equipment are not allowed by system rules. Although the existence of the system is meant to enable the host to hang, in order to maintain rationality, the hang will not be too large. But installing a subsystem for others is completely operational, equivalent to getting stuck in a system bug. If it weren't for a system vulnerability that caused Song Chen to sleep for 19 years, he wouldn't have had this opportunity. It can only be said that Song Chen's luck is really good. Ding, in principle, it is possible. Please ask the host to verbally describe the design scheme of the subsystem, and this system will determine whether it violates the system rules. Song Chen began to study the functions of subsystems. Chang Kaishen is naturally suspicious. Except for a few confidants, he will completely trust them. If anyone else disobeys a little, they will be fired and kicked away. Loyalty investigation is necessary, and I, Song Chen, can directly boost my loyalty. I am definitely the most loyal lackey in the committee. In addition, talent exploration also needs to be arranged. Except for me, Song Chen, everyone else is mediocre and it's hard not to get promoted. There should also be rewards, give him some sweetness to try. A detailed plan revealed a devilish smile on Song Chen's face. The subsystem can view loyalty. I talked about everything in detail for a whole 5 minutes, but I was so stunned that the system could crash. Ding, it's too cunning and despicable. Host, are you a devil? Song Chen's face turned black and he snorted coldly, are you okay? Ding, after comprehensive consideration, the host's conditions can be agreed upon by the system, but the subsystem rewards must be provided by the host. Sleeping trough, has it really become? Song Chen widened his eyes in disbelief. This system may not have some flaws. It was asked to equip 10 divisions with weapons and equipment, but it refused, only to agree to this outrageous condition. What does it mean to bind subsystems to Chang Kaishen? The ultimate goal is to become a master of aerial micro-operations and control flower planting. Earned it, what an unexpected joy. The system is indeed reliable. 2. The superpower system. Chang Kaishen was stunned. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After a moment of ecstasy, Song Chen calmed down and cleared away his long-standing frustration. Being in the Republic of China in 1936, knowing that a disaster was imminent, but unable to help plant flowers and save those compatriots who died tragically in the war, if it weren't for Song Chen's steadfast mind, he would probably have suffered from depression. Fortunately, God opened his eyes and bound the system in a timely manner. It's not too late, as long as we stay calm, we can definitely change the tragic fate of the flower-planting nation. World War II was an opportunity, causing Western powers to break their brains and suffer losses. I secretly developed and eventually ended up harvesting. World Overlord. Song Chen walked to the window and looked at the bloody sunset on the horizon, with a hint of coldness in his eyes. Ambition was gradually growing. System, subsystem bound to Chang Kaishen. Huangpu Road, east of Jinling City, is shaded by green trees and sparsely populated by pedestrians. The Central Army Officer School is located here. In the garden next to the Military Academy, a 2-story Western-style building facing north and south is the Chang Kaishen official residence, named Feilu. In the simple yet elegant living room, Chang Kaishen had just returned from the executive yuan and was about to sit down and read the newspaper when a sudden voice appeared in his mind. Ding, the awakening of the superpower system, is it bound? Chang Kaishen was startled and turned his head alertly to look around. Who is talking? The living room was empty and eerily quiet. Chang Kaishen, who had experienced strong winds and waves, quickly calmed down and frowned, saying, "The superpower system." Ding, yes, this system is called the superpower system and can assist the owner in establishing a superpower. The sound that just emerged out of thin air reappeared in his mind, and Chang Kaishen was certain that it was not a human voice. Cold and emotionless, is it a fairy? Yes, only immortals can use this method of transmitting messages through the air. In just a few tenths of a second, Chang Kaishen's brain replenished a lot. That superpower system, are you a fairy? Ding, no, the master can call me the system. As for how I came here, you can also understand it as the flower planting immortal sending me to help with planting flowers. Oh, you're not a fairy. Chang Kaishen felt calm in his heart, both excited and hopeful, while also feeling a bit proud. You see, as the chairman of the committee, I was indeed appointed by heaven, and even the immortals came to help me. System, how can you assist me? Ding, this system has 3 functions. The first feature is a daily lottery, which allows you to randomly obtain weapons and equipment, industrial equipment, weapon design drawings, technical information, and more. Except for living people, you can also win. The second function is loyalty detection. As the head of a country, one must always grasp the loyalty of subordinates. Loyalty values range from 0 to 100. Those below 50 are not trustworthy and may betray at any time. Those between 50 and 70 are slightly trustworthy, with a possibility of betrayal of 50%. Those between 70 and 80 are trustworthy, with a possibility of betrayal of 20%. Those between 80 and 90 can be considered confidants, with a possibility of betrayal of less than 10%. Those above 90 are unlikely to betray unless the owner commits heinous acts. When the loyalty reaches 100, congratulations to the master, you won't hesitate even if you make him wipe his neck. The third function, talent exploration, is what is most important in today's world. Talent. The owner can explore talents through talent exploration, accurately identify the types of talents, such as financial, military, and political talents, and efficiently and quickly cultivate professional talents. The talent value is also 0.100, 0.20 is an ordinary person, 20.60 is a small talent, 60.80 is a huge potential, 80.90 is a natural talent, and above 90 is a peerless genius. Hush. After listening to the system introduction, Chang Kaishen couldn't help but take a cold breath. This is indeed a divine technique, it's unbelievable. Even if we skip the daily lottery, we can still explore loyalty and talent. It's like heaven helping me. With the assistance of the system, it is clear at a glance who is loyal and who is treacherous. Whoever has talent, who is a rascal, has nowhere to hide. Ding, today's lottery has not been used yet. Will the host draw a lottery? Draw. Ding, the lottery is completed. Congratulations to the owner for winning the Browning M2 HB Heavy Machine Gun X10, 12.7mm bullets x 50,000 rounds. The lottery ended, and Chang Kaishen automatically took out an M2 HB heavy machine gun from the system space with his mind. Bang! The machine gun appeared out of thin air, with a heavy barrel hitting the carpet. Chang Kaishen was already stunned, mechanically reaching out to stroke the cold metal barrel. Really, it's true. No dreams. The next second, Chang Kaishen laughed up in the sky. With the assistance of the system, planting flowers will become stronger and stronger. Who dares to say that I, Chang Kaishen, only know cunning and internal strife? Auntie, have you come back yet? When Chang Kaishen was full of vitality and imagination for a better future, a magnetic voice came. He turned his head and quickly put away the heavy machine gun. It can be easily folded and folded, it's too convenient. As Song Chen walked in, he saw Chang Kaishen's proud expression on his face, and his heart was filled with joy. The system should have been successfully bound, and Chang Kaishen is probably so happy that he wants to jump up. He considers himself a destined person and is extremely proud. Great, from now on, Song Chen will be your #1 loyal minister. Uncle, where's my sister? Law. Stinky kid, I only know how to find your aunt, but when I return to Jinling, I don't know how to come and see me. Chang Kaishen's mouth was scolding, while his heart was using loyalty to explore Song Chen. Ding, loyalty exploration successful. Song Chen, male, 19 years old, has a loyalty of 101 to his master. The master can fully trust him because Song Chen can sacrifice his life for his master and there is no possibility of betrayal. What? Chang Kaishen was bewildered and stared blankly in place. He never expected that Song Chen's loyalty would reach 101, exceeding the limit of loyalty values. What's going on? Although I am very kind to Song Chen, as soon as I returned to my home country, I strongly opposed public opinion and appointed him as the colonel and regimental leader of the Dai division. My wife also regarded Song Chen as her own son and raised him as a married son. But this loyalty is too outrageous, isn't it? System, can you detect errors? Ding, it's impossible to make a mistake. Song Chen is an upright and resolute soldier who swore to defend his country. The reason why his loyalty is so high, even exceeding the numerical value, is because he is grateful for your unconditional trust in him, the master. The saying goes that if a scholar dies as a confidant, the master will promote him to be the leader of an elite German mechanical division. Aren't they grateful? The second reason is very simple, because the owner is Song Chen's uncle. If Song Chen doesn't help the owner, why do he still go and help outsiders? I see. Chang Kaishen understood and was very pleased. Song Chen is a true military genius, highly regarded by the West Point Military Academy of the beautiful country. The lightning warfare, island jumping tactics, and great detour tactics proposed by Song Chen have caused a sensation in the Western military community, and many military experts even praise Song Chen as a military strategist who can compare with Napoleon. It can be imagined how powerful this 19-year-old boy is. If it weren't for Song Chen's unwillingness to change his nationality and his insistence on returning to planting flowers, the beautiful National Army would be willing to offer him the rank of Major General and invite him to serve as Deputy Chief of Staff at Washington. Thinking of this, Chang Kaishen once again explored Song Chen's use of talent. Ding, talent exploration successful, Song Chen, male, 19 years old, military talent 120, economic talent 108, political talent 105. Shocking. Chang Kaishen was frightened by Song Chen's talent. The military talent surprisingly reached 120, exceeding the limit by a full 20 points. Apart from military talents that are intimidating, a series of talents such as economics and politics have exceeded their limit values. Is it really fake? System, you're not lying to me, are you? Ding, can the master say this? Is it necessary for this system to deceive you? Chang Kaishen was embarrassed. The system was sent by immortals and he wouldn't be deceived. No matter how evil Song Chen is, he is also a human. Can we still let the immortals deceive him? How could it be? System, why did Song Chen's talent exceed the limit value? Ding, master, you must believe a fact. Since the birth of humanity, in the rolling history of history, there have always been several amazing geniuses, such as Jiang, Gan Luo, who worshipped the prime minister at the age of 12, Han Xian, the military immortal, Zhuge Liang, and Lu Bowen, the legendary prime minister who assisted Zhu Yuanzhang in defeating the Ming dynasty. Song Chen is a peerless genius that only appears hundreds of years ago. Please treat him kindly. It is rare for Song Chen to be so loyal to his master. If we were to deviate from him and force him to join the camp, we were afraid that his master would be defeated. Chang Kaishen. 3. Song Chen. Wei Zuo, I am your number one dog. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chang Kaishen felt numb and filled his heart with infinite excitement. Today is definitely the happiest and luckiest day of his life, even happier than the day he married his wife Song Meiling. Firstly, we obtained the system sent by the immortals, and then explored Song Chen's loyalty and talent. Upon learning that this extraordinary talent in front of him, who could be compared to Jiang Zia and Lu Bowen, was loyal to him, Chang Kaishen was eager to howl in the sky. Double happiness at the door, this is the true double happiness at the door. With systems and Song Chen, why worry about not achieving great success? Song Chen, who silently observed Chang Kaishen, couldn't help but burst out laughing because all the system answers in Chang Kaishen's mind were edited by him. Seeing Chang Kaishen's complex expressions of doubt, amazement, ecstasy, and satisfaction at that moment, Song Chen knew that this guy had firmly believed in him. Wei Zuo is wise, Song Chen is a legendary talent. Xiao Chen, daring, what are you doing? Song Meiling's voice came, and Chang Kaishen regained consciousness and quickly pulled Song Chen to sit down. Long time no see this kid, why is he so handsome again? With a height of 1.87 meters and a well-proportioned and slender figure, coupled with chiseled facial features and a pair of starry eyes, Chang Kaishen was a bit jealous. He had a natural talent as a demon and was also extraordinary in appearance. If this kid were more promiscuous, he wouldn't know how many girls he would harm. From the moment he met Song Chen, Chang Kaishen felt that the four great beauties of the Republic of China were simply shameless and did not match Song Chen's shoes. Song Chen, who took off his military uniform, was a gentle and elegant young master, and wearing his military uniform was a domineering and fierce iron-blooded soldier. With the system in place, Chang Kaishen learned that Song Chen was loyal to him and a remarkable talent. The more he looked at Song Chen, the more he liked him. I have decided to promote Song Chen tomorrow, or at least arrange for him to become a division commander first. Next year, Song Chen will be promoted to Major General, serving as the commander of the army, and gradually promoted to Chief of the General Staff. With the assistance of such a loyal, militarily talented and terrifying talent, one can finally feel at ease. Madam, Xiao Chen is here to find you. Song Meiling, dressed in a black slim-fitting qipao and with exaggerated body lines, walked over. She first bent down to pinch Song Chen's face, then tugged at Song Chen's ears, with a hint of resentment on her face. Stinky kid, why haven't you heard from me for several months despite making frequent phone calls? If it weren't for your uncle saying you're doing well in Jiangyin, would have personally gone to find you. Song Chen smiled awkwardly. Excluding other shortcomings, this cheap aunt is really good to him. It could be that appearance is just, or it could be taking care of him as an orphan of the Song family. He always responds to every request, wishing he could withdraw from the army and become a wealthy young master with peace of mind. Auntie, I have taken office as a new official. Taming those arrogant soldiers and generals has already exhausted me. I will make time to call back in the future, don't worry. Upon hearing Song Chen say she was exhausted, Song Meiling let go of her hand and asked with heartache, Xiao Chen, why don't you go back to the Jinling General Headquarters and become a staff officer? After speaking, she looked at Chang Kaishen. Darling, Xiao Chen is widely recognized as a military genius in the West and a military strategist on par with Napoleon. He shouldn't go to the front line, right? That's right, but hastily assigning Xiao Chen to the headquarters would cause some people's dissatisfaction. It's better to let Xiao Chen become a division commander in the main division first, and once he achieves results, no one can say anything about promotion. Master of the main force. Song Meiling grasped the key point and asked in confusion, daring, Xiao Chen won't turn 20 until July. Is it really possible to become the main teacher? A 20-year-old main division commander would definitely cause criticism, even if Song Chen is recognized as a military genius in the West. In the flower-planting military, including Western military, promotion and promotion are all based on qualifications. Even if you are no genius, you will have to endure some qualifications to win the crowd. Unless it is a warlord, such as the Fengshe Major Marshal Zhang Xiaolu, who became the regimental commander at the age of 19, the brigade commander at the age of 21, the commander of the Northeast Army's General Regiment at the age of 23, and also the commander-in-chief of the Jingyu region garrison. The reason why the promotion speed is so fast is because their father is a Fengshe Grand Marshal, and the army is all from their own family, so no one can say anything. The national army is different, and there are too many factors to consider. Why not? Song Chen has the ability, why can't he serve as the main teacher? The military values the strong as the top priority. If you don't have the strength, don't stand in the pit and don't poop. I have decided to arrange for Song Chen to be the main division commander during tomorrow's meeting. Chang Kaishen's resolute attitude made Song Yuanliang look bewildered. What's wrong with darling today? It feels a bit strange. As for where it's strange, I can't say for sure. Anyway, something's wrong. Forget it, this is a good thing. The more capable Song Chen is, the greater the voice of the Song family in the military and political system of planting flowers. The four major families often have Song, Kong, and Chen, but the Song and Kong families do not have much influence in the military. In this chaotic era of war, military power is more important than financial power. Previously, the Song family lacked military talents, making it difficult to squeeze into the military. Now, Song Chen. His surname is Song, and his military talent is definitely the first among the young generation who grow flowers. Song Yuanliang looked at Song Chen's flawless profile, her eyes filled with love and satisfaction. Song Chen, do you have the confidence to serve as the main teacher? Song Chen suppressed the excitement in his heart and stood up without arrogance or impatience to salute. May I die to serve the committee. This ambiguous answer surprised Song Yuanliang, but Chang Kaishen laughed heartily. Not bad, Song Chen with a loyalty of 101 can be completely trusted. Song Chen, work hard. My uncle can clearly tell you that as long as you achieve results, except for the position of commander-in-chief of the three armies, my uncle can give you any other position. Song Chen's handsome face showed a hint of ecstasy, with a big white tooth exposed from his grin. Uncle, a word from a gentleman is hard to recall. Seeing Song Chen as happy as a child who had received a toy, Chang Kaishen preferred this talented and loyal nephew. A person with a pure heart is the easiest to control. As long as you treat them well, they can be loyal to you. Song Yuanliang smiled and said, Song Chen, you must work hard and not disappoint your uncle's expectations, you know. Song Chen patted his chest with a proud expression, promising. Auntie, don't worry, uncle. In terms of military affairs, I consider myself second, and no one dares to call me first. Is that right? Chang Kaishen smiled but remained silent. He was well aware that besides his terrifying military talent, this kid also had far more talents than ordinary people. The ability to wield a pen to pacify the world, and the ability to wield martial arts to conquer the heavens and earth, should be referring to Song Chen, a legendary talent who can rival Jiang and Zhuge Liang. I found a treasure, why don't you recognize me as an adopted son? 4. As long as the master of micro-operations does not become a demon, the Battle of Songhu will take place. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After chatting for a while at Chang Kaishen's official residence, Song Chen bid farewell and returned to the three-story small Western-style building that his parents had purchased during their lifetime. He washed himself up and lay on a soft big bed. Today can be said to be a great harvest. From now on, as long as you have good acting skills, be careful in your actions, and don't show any flaws, you can easily grasp Chang Kaishen. The Micromaster is not a demon and has system assistance to minimize losses as much as possible. Song Chen was so excited that he couldn't sleep, pondering how to win the Battle of Songhu. Thinking of the Battle of Shanghai that would erupt 3 months later, Song Chen couldn't help but feel angry. The Battle of Songhu commanded by Chang Kaishen aimed to highlight the strengths of the enemy, avoid their weaknesses, and fully utilized the advantages of the sea, land, and air of Xiao Ri to abuse his elite troops. He then showed off to foreigners, and there was nothing more foolish than this. This is also the dumbest part of Chang Kaishen. Defending the country is for foreigners to see, it's really the biggest joke in history. Simple defense, concentrating hundreds of thousands of elite troops in a narrow area on the south bank of the Yangtze River, layer by layer fortifications, fighting to the death, and consuming a large amount of the army's living strength, this foolish tactic can only be carried out by Chang Kaishen. Of course, it's not that the Battle of Songhu is unnecessary, but rather it must be fought, but it cannot be fought like Chang Kaishen. In modern times and space, many people believe that if Chang Kaishen did not choose to fight the Battle of Songhu, but instead withdrew his troops to inland areas far away from the sea and air firepower of Xiaotian, and concentrated his superior military forces to confront Xiaotian, the situation would be greatly different. Bullshit, only war novices think so. Why must the Battle of Songhu be fought? From ancient times to the present, except for Zhuge Yuanliang, almost all armies that occupied all kinds of flowers relied on speed to quickly pass through the North China Plain and head south. Mongol and Gulen invaded the Central Plains, King Yan overthrew Jiang, and Miqing entered the border. Almost all of them passed through Hunan Province, went to Shuzhou, and penetrated directly into Jiangnan. Because this route is the most convenient way to occupy all kinds of flowers. In this process, there is almost no natural danger in the whole North China Plain to stop the enemy, and the attacking party can invade from north to south in many directions. The defending side, on the other hand, needs to deploy a large number of troops in a dispersed manner to prevent enemy attacks from all directions, and the diluted combat power is highly likely to be defeated by each individual. If the attacking forces have an advantage, they will quickly occupy a large area of high-quality land with a strong momentum. Xiao Ri, who was proficient in the history of flower cultivation, clearly would not give up on this fast breakthrough route. In the early 1930s, Xiao Ri's invasion plan was to quickly march south to capture Wukan and occupy the entire flower cultivation area after the war broke out in North China. In order to implement this plan, Xiao Ri dispatched a large number of spies to conduct geographical surveying and mapping of the North China region before the war, so that the military could grasp the most detailed geographical data of going south. So, after the outbreak of the July 7 incident and the start of the full-scale war, the Fusang army was unstoppable in North China, and the flower planting army retreated step by step. The speed of North China's fall exceeded everyone's imagination. At the same time, within the flower planting army, many senior generals also realized that the Fusang people could not be allowed to steadily encroach on the North China region, and that a second world front must be opened up. Exchange space for time, rely on the East China Sea, and gather the main force of the army in the areas of Nanchung, Jinling, Wuhan, and Shuzhou. Use the constructed defensive fortifications to form an internal defense circle, fully resist the attack of the Fusang army, and prolong the campaign time as much as possible. In October 1936, Chen Cheng advanced to Chang Kaishen in Lushan. The enemy's invasion was advantageous for attacking from north to south, while our side, in order to maintain our bases in the northwest and southwest, focused on fighting in the East China Sea and lured the enemy to attack from east to west. Chen Qing highlighted here the strategic value of opening up a second front in the East China Sea, which is to shift the attacking axis of the Fusang army. Since most of the Fusang army is stationed in the northeast and North China, once the war begins in an all-round way, the Fusang army will attack southward along the Tianjin-Pujiang line and the Pinghan line. The flat terrain of the North China Plain is a great convenience for the development of the mechanized corps of the Fusang army, but it is very unfavorable for the effective defense of the poorly equipped flower-growing army organization. If the Fusang army stops fighting after occupying North China and instead starts accumulating strength to prepare for going south, it will be the worst situation. On the contrary, if the flower planting army can launch military operations in East China and open up a second front, it can force a large number of Fusang troops stationed in the north to shift their attack direction from north to south to east and west, forcing them to disperse their forces. They cannot fully leverage their military advantages in the north-south direction, nor can they leverage the advantages of mechanized forces in the east-west direction. The Nationalist Army, on the other hand, could use its terrain advantage along the Yangtze River to sustain defense and resist step by step, forcing the Fusang army to engage in a comprehensive and lengthy war of attrition, rather than using its military strength advantage to quickly penetrate and plant flowers in the north-south direction. As for why choose to start fighting in the East China Sea? Because there is a necessary element in opening up a second battlefield, which is to be able to force the northern Fusang army, and even the local Fusang army, to reinforce in large numbers. If we launch an attack in inland areas, you can see that Fusang will ignore you. While the East China Sea is different, the power of Fusang in the East China Sea is weak, but it is very important for Fusang's interests in flower cultivation, making it the most important pivot of Fusang in the East China region. The result of the East China Sea being regained control by the flower planting army was something that the Fusang people never wanted to see, so they would definitely draw troops from all over to rescue the East China Sea. However, once the Japanese army drew troops to rescue the East China Sea, their overall deployment was disrupted. Later facts also proved that the Battle of Songhu was like a magnet, attracting a large number of troops from the Fusang army. Moreover, from the East China Sea to the west, there are all rugged and hot mountains in Anhui Province, Jiangxi Province, Hubei Province, and Hunan Province. The advancing speed of the Fusang army will be much lower than that of the North China Plain, so the logistics capability of the Fusang army will not be able to supply the army for high-intensity operations in these places for the time being. Even if the Fusang army occupies the front line of the Yangtze River, it will inevitably lead to the need to deploy a large number of troops to maintain security along the Yangtze River, and cannot occupy other areas in a short period of time, giving the Chinese army a breathing space. The most important thing is that the East China Sea, as the largest metropolis in the Far East, is a place where the interests of Western powers are intertwined. Once a war breaks out here, it will inevitably attract the attention of the international community. Once the war is anxiously prolonged, it will most likely trigger external intervention from the international community, forcing Fusang to use caution, creating opportunities for mediation between both sides, and once again fighting for development time for planting flowers. In this situation, the outbreak of the Battle of Songhu was inevitable and a last resort choice, rather than what some people believe to be a pointless battle. In summary, no matter how heavy the losses were, the outbreak of the Battle of Songhu successfully opened up the Second World War line, shifted the attack axis of the Fusang army, achieved the major strategic goal, and completely bankrupted Fusang's 3-month plan to annihilate Huazhong. This fully proves the rationality and necessity of Huazhong launching the Battle of Songhu. But Chang Kaishen is still too cowardly, and the core reason is that he is too cowardly. He has always hoped for mediation with the international community, using the flesh and blood of the nationalist soldiers to perform for Western powers, rather than seriously fighting well. It was precisely due to his naivety that various sides were at odds, resulting in a painful defeat in the Battle of Shanghai, which should have achieved greater results and sacrificed less. After analyzing, Song Chen had a rough plan in mind. Once the Battle of Songhu is completed, it will be a melting pot of flesh and blood for young people, capable of dragging down these little beasts in East China. 5. Novice Gift Pack, a weapon for a mechanic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. System, where is my beginner gift package? Thinking about the Battle of Songhu, Song Chen's spiritual light flashed and suddenly remembered something very important. Those who have read novels know that system binding will inevitably come with a beginner's gift package to help the protagonist stand firm at the beginning of the journey. Today, I was only focused on designing a system for Chang Kaishen. I was so excited that I almost forgot to ask for the beginner's gift package. Ding, the host is really shameless. Song Chen frowned and said, "Can you speak? You slept quietly for 19 years, leaving me struggling alone in this chaotic world. I almost didn't blame you. You asked for a beginner's gift package, but you dare to scold me for being shameless. Ding, could you please think carefully, host? Who gave you your memory that has surpassed human limits and your physical fitness that is as strong as that of the Cambodian team? You don't think you're a natural talent, do you? Song Chen's pupils shrank and he instinctively clenched his fist, feeling the explosive power inside his body. His face was filled with a black question mark. He had a non-human physical condition and abnormal memory since childhood. He even remembered all the books and materials he had read in his past life, which enabled him to successfully pass the West Point Military Academy assessment at the age of 12 and become the youngest student in the history of West Point Military Academy. How non-human is physical fitness? It may not be possible to kill a cow with one punch, but it is entirely possible to kill a person with one punch. Studying in a beautiful country with severe racial discrimination, he inevitably faced discrimination and provocation. He responded to his classmates who looked at the sky with their noses and used fists to solve the problem. The most exaggerated incident was when 17 senior white classmates who had received professional military training fought alone, but ended the brawl unscathed with 9 serious injuries and 8 minor injuries under the intervention of school guards. In this battle, Song Chen gained complete fame at West Point Military Academy, and no one dared to provoke him. One punch to death is during a holiday, when I went to a bar in New York with a few good classmates and encountered a group of gangsters kidnapping 2 wealthy ladies, and a fierce gunfight broke out. Originally, Song Chen had no intention of taking action, but all his classmates rushed to save the beauty with heroes. Helpless, Song Chen had to take action. Faced with armed gangsters, Song Chen didn't hesitate. He punched and killed 17 gangsters like a runaway beast, shocking New York City and causing a frenzy of media coverage, directly causing a wave of martial arts fever. It's not surprising that the beautiful Chinese people are so stunning. Anyone who sees a kung fu master who can smash the skull with a single punch, out of the nature of worshipping the strong in human animal bones, will worship them. Song Chen was not punished in this incident either, firstly because he acted in self-defense, secondly because West Point Military Academy principal Connor Liebau, and thirdly because the wealthy woman he saved was not an ordinary person. One was from the Rockefeller family, and the other was the daughter of the current president of the DuPont Foundation. So, not only was Song Chen okay, he was also awarded the City Hero Medal by the mayor of New York, and the West Point Military Academy also awarded him the medal. And hired Song Chen as the honorary instructor of combat subjects. Created by Song Chen, combined with the classic killing techniques of flower-growing martial arts and modern special forces, the Song's fighting technique, which combines the essence with the dross, was stunned by the beautiful military and has begun to spread to the whole army. Song Chen's military prowess was unparalleled, and his talent in military command was even more impressive than that of the teachers at West Point Military Academy and the beautiful National Army. A series of tactics such as blitzkrieg, island-hopping tactics, and great detour tactics, as well as the emergence of mechanized force construction plans and information technology tactics that surpass this era, have been thrown out. Song Chen has become a teacher at West Point Military Academy. Having both civil and military skills, if it weren't for Song Chen's insistence on returning to planting flowers, the beautiful National Army would be willing to offer the rank of Major General and the position of Deputy Chief of Staff of the Army. System, I'm so awesome. Did you transform my body? Song Chen was a bit disappointed. He thought he was a talented and extraordinary talent, but it turned out to be the result of the system's covert assistance. Ding, yes. When this system traveled with the host, it suffered a heavy blow due to unknown influences. Later, the system released some of its original power to enhance the host's soul, and after transforming the host's body, it fell into a deep sleep. I see. After Song Chen found out the truth, he was quite grateful to the system. In his past life, he was a top student at the National Defense University of China. When he returned home during winter vacation, he was killed by a dump truck for his brave actions. On his deathbed, the system appeared and brought his soul to this parallel world, becoming a newborn baby. Without the system, he had already been reincarnated. Well, it seems that this time traveling is also like reincarnation, the difference is that it preserves memories from previous lives. But thank you, thank you. I still need the beginner gift pack. The war is about to begin, and Song Chen will not miss any opportunity to enhance his strength. Today, in order to make Chang Kaishen firmly believe in the system, he gave Chang Kaishen 5 Browning M2 HB heavy machine guns purchased from beautiful country as rewards. Sorry, I will go find Chang Kaishen tomorrow to get back. System, don't talk so much nonsense. Where's my newbie gift package? Is it given or not? Ding, the system gift package has been distributed, but today's lottery has not been used yet. Do you want to draw a lottery? Song Chen raised his eyebrows. Draw. Ding, the lottery is completed. Congratulations to the host for receiving one package of 7-dimensional space. I'm riding a horse, why do I need 7 degrees of space? Are you intentionally disgusting me? Song Chen's face turned black and he ignored the system, opening the beginner's gift package. Hush. Sure enough, there is no new gift package that is not awesome. 20,000 Garland semi-automatic rifles, 2,000 Thompson submachine guns, 500 M1911 pistols, 800 M1919A4 machine guns, 200 Browning M2 heavy machine guns, 180 60mm mortars, 150 80mm mortars, 110 120mm heavy mortars, 72 105mm towed howitzers, 60 155mm towed howitzers, and 200 individual radio stations. 100,000 grenades of various types, 50 million bullets of various calibers, 1 million shells of various types, and 300 heavy-duty trucks. This is the weapon equipment of an infantry division, but it lacks tanks, armored vehicles, and anti-aircraft weapons. Song Chen is very satisfied. He originally obtained it from the system, so don't be too greedy. System, thank you, ha. Ding, this is the last time to make up for the previous mistake in this system. From now on, the host does not need to call me. Just draw a lottery every day at noon on time. Good luck. Song Chen waved his hand indifferently. Okay, I got it. Seeking others is better than seeking oneself, and Song Chen never considered relying on the system. Bind the subsystem to Chang Kaishen, and he is confident in leading flower planting to the peak, conquering the beautiful country, and becoming the world's hegemon. However, how should these equipment be taken out? 6. General phase provocation from Sun Yuanliang, what do you think of me? You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The next morning, at the National Army Headquarters. In May 1937, the situation between the planting of flowers in Fusang was already very tense. With Fusang's aggressive and provocative attitude, anyone with a keen eye could see that war would break out in the short term. Chang Kaishen is not a fool, and even more so are the senior generals of the Nationalist Army. They have already begun to discuss how to deal with this war that may lead to the downfall of the country. Today's high-level meeting is to discuss military deployment. Squeak. A grey Rolls-Royce Phantom II sedan was parked at the entrance of the headquarters. The car door opened, and Song Chen, dressed in a straight military uniform and wearing an ivory-handle M1911 pistol at his waist, got out of the car with a tall and straight figure and a cold and fierce temperament. He put on his military hat and strode towards the main building of the headquarters. The Rolls-Royce Phantom II, due to its exorbitant price, currently only has 2 flower-growing vehicles, one of which is still owned by foreigners. Song Chen's car was gifted by Daphne DuPont, the youngest daughter of the CEO of DuPont. It's not even acceptable, including the customized version of the M1911 with an ivory handle at the waist, which was also a birthday gift from Daphne. Thinking of Daphne, who had an angelic face and a devilish figure, with a personality as cold and aloof as a queen, yet fiery and unrestrained, and came to West Point every day to confess her love, Song Chen's lips slightly curved. Throughout history, heroes saving beauty have always been the easiest way to capture a woman's emotions. I almost forgot, didn't this girl say she wanted to come and invest in flowers and do business? It's been 6 months now, why hasn't she even had a trace? Oh, isn't this our Song Xiao? Are you here for the meeting? It's truly Song Xiao, who can participate in the senior officers' meeting with the rank of lieutenant colonel or above to qualify for entry. A piercing sound came, and Song Chen, who was reminiscing about the beautiful past of his country, lifted his head. 3 National Army generals wearing the rank of lieutenant general stood by the garden in front of him on the left. The speaker, Song Chen, knew his superior, the commander of the 88th Division, Sun Yuanliang. That is to say, Sun Yuanliang, the flying general who will inevitably lose and flee in battle. His life motto is that if there is no confidence in success, escape will come first. Song Chen returned to planting flowers and was arranged by Chang Kaishen to serve as the commander of the 523rd Regiment in the 88th Division. However, this guy never gave him a good face and was subjected to various forms of exclusion and suppression. The reason for targeting Song Chen is that Wu Qiujian, the former commander of the 523rd Regiment, was Sun Yuanliang's confidant. Song Chen parachuted into the 88th Division, and Wu Qiujian was transferred to the newly formed 91st Division as the deputy brigade commander. It may seem like a promotion, but in reality, it is a covert promotion. As the deputy brigade commander of an ordinary division, how could it be stronger to be a regimental commander in the 88th Division of Diji? If it's the brigade commander, then endure it, deputy brigade commander. I have no power at all. The second reason is that Song Chen looked down on Sun Yuanliang. After taking on the position of 523 Regiment commander, he went his own way and did not use the training plan formulated by Sun Yuanliang. This made Sun Yuanliang, who considered himself to have outstanding military talent, very uncomfortable and felt insulted. The committee asked me to come, are you questioning the committee's orders? Song Chen didn't underestimate Sun Yuanliang at all, he just moved Chang Kaishen out. After today, I will become the teacher. Perhaps in no time, I will command you as a useless person and deal with you later. Sun Yuanliang still didn't know that he had been blacklisted by Song Chen, continuing his sarcastic remarks. The committee asked you to come. TSK, truly worthy of being the committee's most beloved nephew, how envious. I gave you a face, didn't I? Song Chen's eyes turned cold and he whispered, General Sun, do you know what you look like now? Sun Yuanliang subconsciously asked, what does it look like? What else would you do, like a street scolding shrew, besides chewing on her tongue and speaking in a strange way? If literature doesn't turn into martial arts, it's a waste to wear this military uniform on you. After speaking, Song Chen glanced contemptuously at Sun Yuanliang, whose face was flushed with anger and he dared not curse his mother, and walked into the building with his head held high. As Song Chen walked away, Sun Yuanliang angrily cursed, Pooh, you arrogant dog, only the second-generation ancestor who knows how to talk on paper. Sooner or later, you will drive him out of the 88th Division. There are 2 generals on the side, one is Song Shilian, the commander of the 36th Division, and the other is Wang Jingjiu, the commander of the 87th Division. The relationship between the 2 of them and Sun Yuanliang is not very good, nor is it bad. However, because they are both the commander of the Diji Division and a classmate of Huanpu Phase 1, they have some resentment towards Song Chen, the commander of the airborne 88th Division, and Wu Qiujian, who has made outstanding military achievements. They also have some rebellious connections. Song Shilian comforted and said, Brother Cheng, don't be angry. Song Chen has a prominent family background, is young and successful, and his temper is normal. If you target him too much, it will embarrass the old man. Wang Jingjiu, who was tall and burly, looked at Song Chen's back and asked thoughtfully, "So Cheng, recently there has been a rumor in the military that Song Chen has the courage of 10,000 men, is it really fake?" "It's true." Sun Yuanliang nodded, with a hint of jealousy on his face. "Although I don't want to admit that Song Chen is excellent, this guy really has the ability to tame the proud soldiers and fierce generals of the 523 Regiment in just one day." "How was it tamed?" "Fight. One person fought fiercely against over 200 veterans, sweeping the entire field like Xiangyu, the king of Chu, and subduing the 523rd Regiment. Surprisingly, no one touched Song Chen's finger from beginning to end, indicating how powerful the monster's martial arts were. Song Chen's martial arts are very terrifying. At least I have never seen or even heard of such a powerful martial arts master. Even Hui Yuanjia, who was once famous throughout the world, is not as good as Song Chen, the second-generation ancestor. On the day this kid arrived at the 523 Regiment, he beat over 200 dissatisfied veterans to tears and shouted, "Mom." Have you ever seen someone kick a peach tree with a thin thigh and break it? Song Chen can do it. This kid's strength is probably comparable to Xiang Yu's, he looks white and tender. He's really a monster. Hush. So powerful. Song Shilian and Wang Jingjiu took a deep breath, only feeling a tingling sensation on their scalp. Kicking a peach tree with a thick thigh is something that humans can do. Kicking someone may kill them directly. Song Shilian suddenly remembered a news story she had read 2 years ago. I remember 2 years ago, Song Chen met a black thug in New York who kidnapped 2 wealthy girls and killed more than 10 thugs with bare hands. He also received the City Hero Medal from the mayor of New York. I heard that this kid is still an honorary instructor in the combat subject at West Point Military Academy. His self-created Song's fighting skills are highly respected by the military of the United States and promoted throughout the army. In addition, the various tactics proposed by Song Chen at West Point Military Academy were all included in the textbooks as students, but in reality, they were teachers. It is unknown how Song Chen's brain grew. To be honest, if I had Song Chen's skills and abilities, I would be even more crazy than him. As the words fell, Wang Jingjiu, who had an upright personality, nodded in agreement. Based on this analysis, Song Chen doesn't seem to dislike it either. He comes from a prominent family background, is handsome and unparalleled, and is both civil and military. As a result, he does not have the bad character of a wealthy young master and spends every day training in the military camp. The only downside is a bit arrogant. On second thought, Song Chen was only 19 years old, at a time when he was full of energy and blood. He had strength, intelligence, and background, and he had the capital to be proud. After all, as the old saying goes, one should not be reckless and waste their youth. Wang Jingjiu, who had a better impression of Song Chen, smiled and said, "Then Cheng, don't argue with a child, it will make people laugh." Hee hee. Sun Yuanliang snorted coldly. Song Chen's insults just now have completely angered him. A skilled master who has experienced countless battles is scolded by a young man who has never even participated in actual combat. If it were anyone else, it would be unbearable. What are you saying, Brother Yuping? Is Sun Yuanliang a narrow-minded person? Of course, he won't argue with children. Add more rules, tough guys must watch. You are listening at novelfull.audio. New book seeking data, handsome and compelling readers, humble authors seeking data online. 10 fresh flowers and 1 watch. 5 evaluation tickets plus 1 update. 1 reminder, 1 update. You don't need to give tips, don't waste VIP points. 10 fresh flowers and 1 watch. 5 evaluation tickets plus 1 update. 1 reminder, 1 update. You don't need to give tips, don't waste VIP points. 10 fresh flowers and 1 watch. 5 evaluation tickets plus 1 update. 1 reminder, 1 update. You don't need to give tips, don't waste VIP points. Give me some data, pity me. I promise, at least 5 o'clock a day, with quality and quantity guaranteed, never watering. Please provide some data. At Feilu, no data is a dead end, please. 7. Chang Kaishen. It seems that Song Chen is the most. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the conference room, high-level military officials from all over the country gathered together to attend the conference, with a gathering of stars. He Ying-Qin, Chen Cheng, Li Zongren, Bai Chongxi, Wei Lihuang, Gu Zhutong, Zhang Fakue, Zhu Shaoyang, Shuiyu, Jiang Dingguan, Yu Xuezhong, and others were among the outstanding participants in the meeting, as well as Gue Yongqing, the commander of the Dazishi Teaching Corps, and Zhang Zhizhong, the commander of the Beijing-Shanghai garrison. Chang Kaishen sat at the top, observing the crowd with deep eyes. He Ying-Qin, loyalty is 82. Chen Cheng, loyalty is 90. Li Zongren, loyalty is 72. Bai Chongxi, loyalty of 71. Wei Lihuang, loyalty of 90. With continuous exploration, Chang Kaishen's face gradually became solemn, and a few imperceptible coldness flashed deep in his eyes. Don't look, don't know. At first glance, the person sitting there is not more than 90% loyal to him. Li Zongren and Bai Chongxi are understandable, with a loyalty level of over 70, which is already quite impressive. What about Chen Cheng, Wei Lihuang, these trusted confidants who have been vigorously cultivated? Damn it! Thanks to my trust in you, your loyalty has not exceeded 90. Let's take a look at talent again. Glancing around, Chang Kaishen was speechless. None of the people present had military talents exceeding 90, almost all of them were between 70.90, and most of them were between 50.70. The highest is Zhuge Bai Chongxi, with a military talent of 90. Compared to Song Chen's talent, Bai Chongxi is too weak. At the age of 19, Song Chen has a military talent of 120, which is exactly 30 points higher than Bai Chongxi. This is the true living Zhuge. Outside the door, Song Chen watched Chang Kaishen's every move in his mind and almost burst out laughing. Loyalty and talent values are both controlled by Song Chen. You can adjust them as you want. When I say you are a loyal minister, you are a loyal minister. When I say you are a 25-year-old, you are a 25-year-old. What the immortals said, would Chang Kaishen still question the truth? I didn't see yesterday when Chang Kaishen won 5 M2 heavy machine guns in the lottery, and almost knelt down to thank God. Song Chen glanced askance at Sun Yuanliang as he walked by, his lips curled up, revealing a strange smile. Sun Yuanliang, who was contemplating how to retaliate against Song Chen, shuddered and turned his head alertly toward Song Chen. What's going on? Why is this kid looking at me with such strange eyes? Young Master Song, the conference is about to begin. Let's hurry inside. Wang Jingzhou and Song Shilian walked over, changing their distant attitude and warmly greeting Song Chen. Song Chen is not an arrogant fool who looks down on others. In order to achieve the feat of defeating Chang Kaishen, he must obtain the recognition of the National Army generals. Song Shilian and Wang Jingzhou are both good. They are honest and pure soldiers, so we can try to win them over. General Wang and General Song, I am a junior, please come first. Speaking, Song Chen pushed open the door. Please. Song Shilian and Wang Jingzhou smiled, showing even greater affection towards Song Chen. Not holding on to talent and arrogance, yet being humble and polite, this kid's future is limitless. Sun Yuanliang's words are indeed untrustworthy. It must be this old boy who is jealous of the wise and capable, and resents Song Chen for driving his confidant Wu Qiujin away, which is why he maliciously slandered behind his back. In the military, the strong are respected. Song Chen has the ability and is more suitable as the commander of the 523 Regiment than Wu Qiujian. You should be happy. So hate Song Chen, do you still consider the 88th Division as your private army? Song Shilian and Wang Jingjiu, who had completely changed their impression of Song Chen, began to question Sun Yuanliang's character. Let's go in together. Song Chen glanced at Sun Yuanliang with a smile on his face, and walked into the conference room side by side with Song Shilian and Wang Jingjiu. Looking at the backs of the three, Sun Yuanliang became even more angry. If it weren't for the fear of Song Chen's strength and background, he would really want to give this guy a big slap in the ear. In the conference room, with the appearance of Song Chen, the air instantly quieted down, and everyone stopped chatting, staring at Song Chen with burning eyes. No way, Song Chen's name is too well known. He was the most outstanding graduate of the 1936 class at West Point Military Academy. During his time at school, he received multiple honors, serving as an honorary instructor in combat subjects, an honorary instructor in the Staff College, an honorary instructor in the Armored Corps College, and so on. With his extraordinary terrifying military talent, he impressed the entire West. What's even more terrifying is that this young genius, who is only 19 years old, not only has amazing military talent, but also extremely strong martial arts. He defeated the foreigners who looked down on him with their eyes at West Point Military Academy, and then served as the commander of the 523 Regiment. He also used his fists to defeat the rebellious veterans. Having both literary and military skills, a prominent family background, and unparalleled beauty, he is simply the biological son of God. Bai Chongxi tilted her head and whispered to Li Zongren, "How did the old man let Song Chen attend this meeting? Are we going to promote Song Chen again?" "I don't know, Song Chen has a brilliant resume and a really talented military talent. The only drawback is that he hasn't participated in actual combat. If his command ability in actual combat is also strong, it would be terrifying. The future is limitless." Li Zongren shook his head and sighed. There have been talented people from all over the country. I hope Song Chen has real talent and materials. Bai Chongxi nodded, not jealous, but more appreciative. Excluding other reasons, they are truly patriotic and hope to grow flowers better and better. Planting flowers is fraught with internal and external troubles, and warlord factions and Jinling governments across the country are at odds with each other. Fusang, a hungry wolf, is also aggressive and could invade at any time. In this critical moment, planting flowers requires talents with the ability to turn the tide. Song Chen has the potential to become a military god because since the establishment of the Republic of China, there is still a flower grower who has received such high praise from Western powers in terms of military affairs. Xiao Chen, come sit next to me. The conference room fell silent for a few seconds, and Chang Kaishen smiled and waved his hand to let Song Chen come and sit down. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's eyes changed once again. They are well aware that the chairman's move sends a signal that they want to cultivate and reuse Song Chen. Song Chen also understood what Chang Kaishen meant, without any hesitation, walked over to Chang Kaishen's side, pulled a chair, and sat behind him to the left. It's impossible to sit next to Chang Kaishen, that's too foolish. Sitting behind Chang Kaishen is quite suitable. It is obvious that Chang Kaishen is very satisfied with Song Chen's approach, and the generals have nothing to say. Alright, let's have a meeting. The theme of this meeting should be clear to everyone. I will never give up my heart to plant flowers when Fusang falls, and I have repeatedly provoked the troops stationed in Beiping. According to top-secret intelligence, Fusang had already formulated an overall strategic plan and national policy benchmark last year, and then held a military exercise to explain to the participating generals the war deployment of launching a full-scale invasion and planting war. So, war can break out at any time, and we must be prepared in advance. After Chang Kaishen finished speaking, everyone's faces were extremely solemn. As a traveler, Song Chen was immediately confused. Good guy, it turns out that Chang Kaishen already knew that Xiao Ri had formulated the national policy benchmark in 1936. Since you knew in advance, why are you still fighting so hard? 8. Bulls gather here, and little Zhuge Bai Chongxi is cunning. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Song Chen was only surprised for a moment before returning to normal. What does Chang Kaishen say? Although the level of micro-operation is not very good, it does not affect him becoming the most strategic politician in the country. As for the right and wrong, it can only be said that he is destined to be defeated. Chang Kaishen represents the interests of the big landlord class and is completely opposed to human nature. Someone must be dissatisfied, saying, is Chang Kaishen born as a reactionary element? Of course not, but his capital accumulation is standing on the opposite side of human nature. For example, Lu Wenchai, Ma Bufang, and Zhang Zuolin, which one did not start from the opposite of human nature? Although Lu Wenchai has run schools and provided relief to the villagers, he still cannot conceal his essence as a landlord class. So, Chang Kaishen is really the leader of a local gang. He is always in a weak position in world politics and has a stiff waist, which is sad. Teachers treat others equally and everyone is equal to him. Chang Kaishen didn't even understand this point to death. Not to mention Chang Kaishen's patriotism, he signed 76 agreements with the United States, giving them all the air superiority, tariffs, trade jurisdiction, judicial power, etc. for flower cultivation, just to exchange weapons with the United States. If he were patriotic, would Li Hongzhang, who sold the flower planting tariff rights to HSBC, also be patriotic? Song Chen looked at Chang Kaishen and once again firmly believed that he must kick him away, resolve the internal conflicts within the flower planting as quickly as possible, and then take advantage of the outbreak of World War II, when Western powers had no energy to suppress the gap in flower planting, rise rapidly. The goal is to defeat the beautiful country, defeat the polar bear, and seize world hegemony. To take a step back, even if we cannot defeat the powerful and beautiful polar bear to seize world hegemony, we must sit on equal footing and not be subject to others. At the same time, we must remove the humiliating title of the East mute sick man and make the flower planting nation an excellent race that is not inferior to Western white people. This is Song Chen's goal, a grand goal destined to be fought for a lifetime. Xiaochen, what do you think is the probability of Fusang invading and planting flowers? Ah! Song Chen, who was imagining the future, suddenly heard Chang Kaishen ask him and looked up in confusion. Seeing dozens of senior generals staring at him with different expressions, Song Chen was still a bit nervous. After all, this was the first time he had close contact with so many characters who had left a significant mark in history. However, it has been 19 years since I crossed this parallel world, and with the age before crossing, I am already 40 years old. My mind is very mature, and there is no hint of timidity or nervousness on my face. My seat, the probability of Fusang invading and planting flowers is 100%. Based on my comprehensive analysis of many factors, I infer that war will be launched by the end of the year at the latest. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was not surprised. Last year, Prime Minister Hiroyuki Hirota of Fusang established a national policy benchmark to establish expansion direction. His determined national policy is to ensure Fusang's position in the eastern mute continent on the one hand, and to develop towards the Southern Ocean on the other hand. In order to expand towards planting flowers and prepare for advancing southward, Fusang began to comprehensively expand its military and prepare for war. The Land and Navy respectively formulated a 5-year plan for military expansion and a massive shipbuilding plan, and strengthened control in various aspects such as speech and industry. It can be said that during the Guangtian cabinet period, the work of establishing a general mobilization system for war had already begun. In October last year, the Tibetan Prime Minister of the Guangtian cabinet publicly declared that Fusang had entered a quasi-wartime system. What does this mean? This means that Fusang is ready for war, and the war of invading and planting flowers will break out at any time. Chang Kaishen smiled and said, Song Chen, can you, a military genius on par with Napoleon, talk about how we can resist the invasion of Fusang to plant flowers? Please don't compare me with Napoleon, he's not worthy yet. Just a Western barbarian military strategist, can we still be compared to the excellent military strategists in our history of flower cultivation? Song Chen corrected his expression calmly. Huh, you kid. Chang Kaishen did not feel that Song Chen was arrogant, but instead believed that this was what a young genius should look like. Others didn't object to Song Chen either. At the age of 19, one should have been bold and rebellious, rather than being as cunning and fearless as an old fox. However, the premise is that Song Chen has the capital to be proud. Bai Chongxi joked with a smile, Colonel Song, as long as you speak up your high opinion that will convince us, we will admit that Napoleon is not as good as you. He Ying-chin also joined in the coaxing. Yes, Colonel Song seems confident, we are all ears. Okay. Since the elders are praising me, then I will show my shame to the younger generation. Song Chen nodded to Chang Kaishen, got up, walked to the huge map hanging on the wall, pondered for a moment, picked up a stick and pointed to the map to tell the strategic plan he had been thinking about since childhood. First, let me briefly explain the hierarchical division of flower planting geography. The geography of flower planting is generally high in the west and low in the east. The average altitude of the third step is below 500 meters, and the average altitude of the second step is between 1,000 and 2,000 meters. At the first step, the average altitude suddenly increases to over 4,000 meters. The invasion of Fusang was unstoppable in the early stages because there was a huge gap in national strength that could not be bridged in the short term. Therefore, we must try our best to maintain our strength and not engage in positional warfare or plain field warfare with the Fusang army. The nationalist army, lacking heavy weapons, has little chance of winning against the armed Fusang army. After the war began, Fusang's national strength lay there. If they fought for a long time, their national strength would not be able to sustain them. If they wanted to destroy the flower planting and end the war in a short period of time, they would definitely choose to engage in a dual-line war. The first line would attack from the northeast to the north of China, and the second line would attack Jinling and the entire East China region from the mouth of the Yangtze River. After taking over North and East China, they would quickly encircle and digest the Central Plains region. At this point, our geographical advantage was highlighted. Most of the areas occupied by Fusang were in the prosperous plains of eastern China, which were the units of the third-tier staircase. The terrain was relatively flat, making it suitable to leverage the advantages of Fusang's mechanized corps. But no matter how strong Fusang is, it is just a small country with a population, and it is difficult to digest the occupied areas. Even if we capture them, they cannot hold on. If we only occupied big cities and transportation lines, then the vast rural areas will still be in our hands. In short, even if Fusang exerted all his strength, he could only take down the third step of planting flowers and then move on to the second step. As the altitude increased, he encountered obstacles from the Great Xing'an Mountains, Taihang Mountains, Wushan Mountains, and Xiefeng Mountains. Coupled with Fusang's lack of military strength, it was difficult to organize a large-scale attack until the end of the second step, which was the end of the Zhuluo. To sum up, as long as we can support it in the early stage, use our advantageous forces to block the attack of the Fusang army as much as possible, and then use our geographical advantages to continuously consume Fusang's troops. At the same time, we can dispatch troops to rural areas to form guerrilla forces, launch a nationwide war, destroy the logistic supply lines of the Fusang army, cut off public roads and railways, and drag Fusang into the quagmire of war. This patriotic war will surely win if we sow flowers. After Song Chen finished speaking, there was a complete silence in the conference room. Bai Chongxi, He Ying-chin, Jiang Baili, and others frowned and pondered on this seemingly simple but actually extremely difficult strategic plan to implement. In fact, Song Chen's strategic plan had already taken shape in their minds, but it was not perfected by Song Chen. Among the high-level generals of the nationalist army, there were many capable people, and Song Chen did not look down upon anyone who could not match him. His advantage is the traveler's foresight. In terms of military command ability, Song Chen is still far behind veteran generals such as Bai Chongxi and Li Zongren. After a long silence, Bai Chongxi asked, "Colonel Song, is there a possibility that Fusang will continue to use the strategy of Qin, Sui, and Yuan, and adopt a strategy of great vertical, deep, and circuitous destruction to plant flowers?" 9. Military god Jiang Baili, General Fei is now supporting us. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. It's truly your Bai Chongxi. The questions you asked were too tricky. If I hadn't delved into modern history, I'm afraid you would have stopped me. Song Chen secretly sighed and immediately rejected Bai Chongxi's speculation. It is unlikely that Fusang's geographical environment is similar to the Jiangnan Hills, and its combat style and thinking style are more suitable for hovering in small terrains. When facing the large-scale plain areas of the northern region where flowers are planted, it will be very difficult to adapt and easily fall into a state of confusion. This statement can be called geodeterminism, but it's actually a lazy act of simply copying similar phenomena elsewhere. It belongs to classification work, not true analysis. Fusang may consider launching a large-scale roundabout tactic in planting flowers, but the sharp contradictions within the Fusang army meant they could not do it. The division and joint attack would evolve into separate battles, with power struggles dominating and serious internal strife leading to a serious decrease in efficiency. They suffered severe military setbacks and were ultimately forced to abandon this approach. Song Chen's analysis is not nonsense. In history, the Fusang army was really like this. For example, in the great victory of Shierzwang, the essence of this battle was that the Fusang army advanced north and south, flanking Shuzhou. And the North Route army also adopted a two-pronged approach, resulting in Li Zongren holding on to one route and fighting exclusively on the other, achieving victory in the battle. Due to the extensive planting of flowers, the Fusang army was forced to divide its military power into multiple strategic directions. To coordinate several directions, it is necessary to have leadership skills that are higher than these directions. Coordinating campaigns may require strategic leadership skills, but the leadership skills required to coordinate several strategic directions are too high, resulting in extremely difficult coordination and almost impossible coordination. If you don't believe it, you can go and understand how sharp the contradictions within Fusang are. Fusang is dominated by the military, and the cabinet, government, prime minister, and emperor are not the overall commanders of the military, but rather become stumbling blocks that hinder the military. The downfall of Emperor Taisho and the rise of Emperor Showa were essentially the result of military power struggles. As for whether the army won or the navy won, they both lost anyway. In this situation, the Fusang military is the actual ruling group, but they are not a complete ruling group, which leads to them being neither bound nor responsible. When it comes to the purpose of war, they will put on a lofty banner, but in actual execution, they only consider the interests of small groups. Small groups are a normal phenomenon, but what is abnormal is that as the actual controllers of state power, their interests of small groups differ too much from those of the state, and the degree of overlap is too low. The result is that no one can constrain the Fusang military itself, and the Fusang military itself can determine the national interests of Fusang, but cannot represent the national interests of Fusang. So, the strategic manifestation is that the Fusang army is unable to achieve strategic coordination of large vertical, deep, and circuitous routes. Each army leader has their own ulterior motives and no one can control them. How can they coordinate? As the words fell, Bai Chongxi gave a thumbs up. Song Chen's analysis delved deeply into the internal problems of Fusang from the inside out, making it clear and convincing. Having been educated, Colonel Song is truly recognized as a military genius in the West. The people present were all convinced, and no one questioned whether Song Chen's military talent had been advertised. Only Sun Yuanliang, who had a grudge against Song Chen, disagreed and believed that Song Chen was just Zhao Kuo, who was just talking on paper. Who doesn't know these theories? With a little research, we can analyze everything from 7 to 8. Sun Yuanliang's eyes rolled, and combined with Song Chengang's strategic analysis, he had a rough strategic idea in his mind. Wei Zuo, I humbly believe that it is certain that the Fusang society will open up an aggressive battlefield in the north, as Fusang has long been entrenched in the northeast, and the Guangdong army of the Fusang army has been operating in the northeast for many years, and preparations for an aggressive war are ready. At that time, Fusang is still very likely to carry out aggressive steps from north to south. In terms of our country's terrain, attacking from north to south is a downward attack, which has geographical advantages and is very unfavorable to us. In order to change this unfavorable situation, I believe that we should take the initiative to open up a second battlefield and go to war in the East China Sea, forcing Fusang's aggressive pace to change from east to west. In this way, it can not only alleviate the military pressure on the first battlefield in North China, but also enable Fusang's aggressive pace to be consumed step by step from the coast to the inland. On the contrary, the flower-planting army can retreat inland to resist and rely on various resources in the inland to engage in a protracted war with the Fusang army. Moreover, if we take the initiative to attack the Fusang army in the East China Sea, we can take the initiative and turn around to catch the Fusang army off guard. Otherwise, over time, the Fusang army in the East China Sea will definitely cooperate with the attack. If Fusang in the East China Sea is attacked, it will have to take the lead in action instead of cooperating with the battlefield in North China. In this way, it will hinder Fusang's invasion in time and space. Ha! After Sun Yuanliang finished speaking, Song Chen was surprised. General Fei has two brushes. In history, the Nationalist Army, knowing that they could not defeat them, resolutely launched the Battle of Shanghai with the strategic goal of dragging Xiao Ri into the quagmire of war. In the end, the strategic goal of the Nationalist Army was achieved. Although Xiao Ri won the Battle of Songhu, he actually won tactics, lost strategy, and had no chance of annihilating the enemy. Jiang Baili, who had just entered the conference room through the back door, walked forward and generously praised. General Sun said, "Well, if you want to hold down Fusang and win strategically, the Battle of the East China Sea must be fought. And it will be fought with all your might." Seeing Jiang Baili coming, Chang Kaishen and others respectfully saluted. "Sir." Song Chen finally saw this famous military scientist in modern history. Jiang Baili is a very talented person who is both civil and military. He has written extensively and is particularly skilled in studying military tactics. He is a famous military educator in the Republic of China and the first person to systematically introduce advanced Western military theories to the world. Along with Zhuge Bai Chongxi, and half of Liu Fei, he is known as one of the three semi-militarists of the Republic of China era. In addition, he was also the main designer of the Nationalist Army's battle plan against Fusang, and his representative work, National Defense Theory, became the strategic guidance for the flower-planting army during the war period, laying the foundation for flower-planting modern national defense theory. His military knowledge was the pioneering work of flower-planting modern military theory. To sum up, he is a big shot. Song Chen respectfully saluted and called him, "Sir." "Chairman, there is something at home and you are one step late. Please forgive me." Sir, it's not late. We've just started." Jiang Baili and Chang Kaishen politely approached Song Chen and looked at this talented young man who had caused a sensation in the Western military. It has to be said that handsome people are easy to win the favor of others. Looking at Song Chen, who had an unparalleled handsome face and a resolute and cold demeanor, Jiang Baili felt even more fond of him. "Sun Song, I have heard all of your strategic analysis just now. You are truly a military genius who has caused a sensation in the Western military community. I have carefully studied and deduced various strategic tactics such as blitzkrieg, great detour tactics, armor assault theory, and island jumping tactics. I am really curious, how did your brain grow? Overpraised, I plagiarized it. Sir, others only know that I am a military genius, but they haven't noticed that since I was 5 years old, I have been studying for more than 12 hours every day and have to take time to exercise. Cold winter and scorching heat, day after day, year after year, I have never slacked off. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was shocked. Yes, I used to only see Song Chen's achievements, but I never thought about how much Song Chen had put in. Starting from the age of 5, how much willpower does it take to persist in studying for more than 12 hours a day? Not only do you need to study, but also take time to exercise your body. From this perspective, their success is not without reason. Chang Kaishen smiled and said, I can prove that Song Chen is a serious prodigy. Since his birth, he has never cried or wet the bed. At the age of 3, he can read and write. At the age of 5, he voluntarily asked his parents to hire a tutor to teach him. At the age of 7, he mastered 9 foreign languages, including English, French, German, Russian, Japanese, Spanish, and Portuguese. His military talent is particularly outstanding, and he is the smallest student in the history of West Point Military Academy. Good talent and hard work, this kid is really a monster.